All right, y'all. So apparently, a lot of more pros are quitting Yu-Gi-Oh. This one pro in particular, Sunseed Jess. I've seen this player across the competitive scene, topping a lot of events, and that's pretty dope, honestly. No matter how you live your lifestyle, because I'm gonna bring it up now, just to get the ugly elephant out of the room. This is a transgender Yu-Gi-Oh player. Like I said, I don't have anything against people who how they live their life. You live your life how you see fit. This player gets a lot of unwelcomed hate. Like I haven't seen anything negative this person has said towards anybody else. So let's keep the negative comments away because like I don't promote any negativity towards anybody, who live their lifestyle the way they see fit. This is gonna be a professional reaction video. I haven't seen it yet. Like I've watched the first 5 seconds. I'm like, you know what? Let me just do a reaction. I was gonna film a discussion topic, but I'll probably say the topic for a different week because it kind of goes into this anyway. But yeah, let's begin.
Competitive Yugioh.
Okay.
And so are half of, or most of, your favorite players.
Okay.
And there's a bunch of reasons for this. I'm going to go through my personal reasons.
Okay.
And yeah, we'll have a bit of a discussion because I think there's a lot of things that would need to change to get me back to playing this game. And yeah, I'd like to clarify very quickly. I am still going to be doing content stuff when I'm back from my little hiatus break. I will be back to doing content, but I will not be attending or competing at events. I will not be at YCS Bologna. I will not be at YCS.
I just pause that real quick. So apparently, it's, like I said, just quitting, not going to any more events, and this is a common trend amongst the competitive players. Like a lot of players are going to games like Locano, One Piece, and we still got players online just trolling the hell out of people saying, "Get good, you guys are mad you can't top," and I think that's a negative mindset to have, mainly because it's like these players clearly can top, but the game is in such of a messed up state. It's almost like you're not really playing anymore. Now it's been like that for the longest, and I don't know if this person's gonna speak on that. But let's get back to the video.
Well, and I won't be at any competitive events unless something drastically changes, which I highly, highly doubt. Right. So, why is everyone quitting, and why am I quitting? I guess I'll go from a personal perspective. I've got a bunch of reasons. I haven't. So this is unscripted, Jess. We're just going raw because I feel like that's the best way to get my perspective across. Let's go through it. So, the direction of game design. I've played for 10 years, and the reason I played for 10 years is I love this game. Mechanically, it was really complex.
Okay.
The card pool, there was so many interesting things I felt like I could do and discover. And yeah, it excited me. I enjoyed the game a lot, and I kept playing. And it doesn't excite me anymore.
I'm gonna pause it right here. So, playing the game for 10 years doesn't excite her anymore, and it's kind of like, okay, well, 10 years. I mean, Sunseed just got into the game. What is it? About 2014. At the peak of the game, so I can kind of understand the decline of interest. Like a lot of people like myself who've been playing since '02, we've been noticing the trends of goofy metagames throughout the years. So this really ain't nothing new. One thing I will say is, though, is early on right now, I'm just happy a lot of people are just finally stepping up and just, speaking their real opinion on things and making a stand and going viral in the community with it because a lot of players are fed up. A lot of players are very fed up.
With the way card design is going, increased more blanket effects, more charmies, Dimensional Shifter, Spooky Dogwood, and Spooky Dogwood time rules is a whole thing. It just doesn't appeal to me. And then when you combine that with the increasing power level, so the first big point I have is to do with power level with cards like Fiendsmith. So the Fiendsmith engine recently released, we saw it in play at North American Nationals and European Championships, and we also noticed the consistency of top players doing well decreased massively. Especially for European Championships, we saw hardly any of our big top players actually in the top of that event. And I think that's because of the power level.
Now, that part I kind of vaguely disagree with. Like I said, I've been playing the game 20 plus years, a little longer than Jess. I'm pretty sure I'm older than Jess as well. Top players don't always top. I think personally, just from noticing in my own little local area, players are just getting better at the game. Like, at least I'm gonna speak for Chicago. I can't speak for you guys' city. Maybe you guys can comment in the conversation down below. There's a lot of players who bid a lot of hours in at locals. I know people who go to locals freaking every day of the week, and they travel throughout the entire state of Illinois to play. I don't think top players, not topping the event or doing as well as they would have, like a Joshua Smith finishing top 64 versus winning the event. I don't think that's something that has anything to do with like Joshua Smith and his skill level, as an example. I just think players are getting better. And as somebody who is a UBell player, and has played against people, really good games by the way, with their Fire King, Snake Eye decks, Fire Fiendsmith decks. Bro, it's a grind game. Like, and ain't nothing just sitting up here saying that there's no skill involved. I just think players are getting better. A lot of players are paying for coaching, which is I might even make a video on that because honestly, I really this is off topic. I really hate the fact that a lot of players stole my coaching idea. Now, before anybody y'all getting y'all panties in your ass, I thought of the coaching idea in 2017. I got roasted out of the community for it. People literally copied my idea and started making bank off of it. But that's neither here or there. I just think it's a little hypocritical. I just got to throw that shout out there for everybody who said something to me about the coaching thing, and now they might have a coaching platform for themselves, or now they're actually approving the coaching thing. Like, that's BS. If you guys been watching me since 2017, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I just think players are getting better, honestly. Like, I know a lot of people who grind. They play a lot of money with decks, and honestly, like my boy JoJo, very good player. He's grinded with he grind with a lot of rogue decks and still do pretty well at locals and at regionals. So I don't really think it has anything to do with pros or not topping because of power creep. Because if you guys looking like 2017, the Zodiac era, even a Pepe era, a lot of the pros of that time frame were doing good. It's just once newer pros came in and started doing just as good, a lot of those guys either started falling out of love with Yu-Gi-Oh because they didn't like the way the game was going, and or the competition got harder, and some of them just quit. Like, you're not always gonna be on top forever. So I think that's something I disagree with Jess on.
Because we have the blanket cards just auto win like Dimensional Shifter, and the power level of cores like Fiendsmith making the game so RNG dependent, like making the game more and more RNG dependent. It discourages you from trying as hard, to be honest, or discourages me from trying as hard, because the more, I know everyone always makes that, oh, Yugioh is super luck based, but like, if a game is becoming more and more luck based, and it becomes harder and harder to top consistently, it reduces motivation to play, because you could be...
I think to pause real quick. Yu-Gi-Oh's always been luck based. Like, most card games are luck based. I played Magic before for fun, never played competitively. I played Naruto CCG for fun. For you guys who do not know, I was a pro player in Naruto. I've also played, I've been playing in a newer card game. I played a lot of old games. I dabbled into Inuyasha back in the day, didn't really know the rules like that. I played Bleach. A lot of card games are luck based. It's just, when you shuffle things up and make it randomized, it's luck based, unless you're cheating.
The best player ever, but you're less and less likely to do well because that's just how the game is and how the game feels like it's becoming. Also, there's a bunch of other things. I think that goes hand in hand with a couple of other points, such as pricing and Euros. European Championships was a huge one for me because it felt like there was no interest whatsoever in the tournament. Like, if you look online, I looked online after the tournament, or like the morning after, and there's just no interest or hype about the event. Everyone's just, okay, Shifter will try me. No one, or Fiendsmith stuff. The hype is gone.
I will say, just to cut Jess off again, I gotta make this a reaction, right? I will say I've noticed, at least myself personally, like, I really don't have a lot of hype to play Yu-Gi-Oh, But I think that goes more along the lines of like I've been calling these same issues out for the longest, and a lot of players in my age group, I'm 34. A lot of players in our 30s, so like late 30s to early 30s to late 20s, we've been noticing these issues for a while. I'm glad. I think Jess is Gen Z. I don't know how old Jess is. Jess is like she might be like what 21, 22, 23. I don't know for sure. However, I will definitely say we've been noticing these issues for a while. Like it's always been this way, crappy prize support. This ain't nothing new. People always say play for the game. I'm actually honestly, real talk. Like I'm not even trying to like roast. I'm happy people are finally waking up, dog. Like, bro, I've been calling for a Yu-Gi-Oh revolution for a minute. Because the biggest lame excuse, Kazuka Takahashi didn't want cash prizing because that was his. I don't care. I don't care. Get competitive or get the F out the way for other games to take over your business. That's simple. RIP Kazuki Takahashi, but that was a goofy decision he made. I'm standing on that statement, like real talk. It made 0 sense back in the day, and it makes 0 sense now. Especially, they can't even say those Japanese laws because Pokemon has cash prizing. But let's continue. And for you people who say, "Oh, it shouldn't be about cash, cheating will improve," that's BS, bro. Dog. People gonna cheat regardless. Fact of the matter is, when playing anything, whether if you're competitive poker, boxing, whatever you're doing competitively, people are always going to try to cheat. It's up to you to learn how to stop the cheating or call it out so you don't get cheated. That's in any competitive thing that goes on. The only thing that's probably not cheating based is like maybe something online. But if people find a way to hack the system, they can still cheat it. But anyway, let's continue.
Especially in comparison to last year, or even not European Championships, even events like YCS Bologna, the hype was just there. People were excited about the game. People liked what they saw. And just all the hype and excitement is gone. And on top of that, prizing is one of the most frustrating ones because it feels like Konami don't care. The format is becoming increasingly bad, and I don't like the direction of card design and the direction that we're heading in. And if you combine that with the fact that I can put hundreds of hours into perfecting my deck for a YCS, go 11-1, let's say in Swiss, lose first round of Top Cut, and I get a playmat that's impossible to sell. Or let's say I do go to a YCS and I do win top and I win the first 2 rounds of Top Cut. I'm in top 8. I get a Nintendo Switch, which doesn't even cover the cost of travel and definitely does not compensate me or make me feel cared about for the hundreds of hours of gameplay and testing I put in to be prepared for this event. It just feels like I'm not cared about as a player. And
Preaching. That's all. I mean, ain't nothing really I can say about this. I'm just happy. Like I know I probably got like a regular face right now, but it's just stuff that I've been saying, and a lot of players are like to be saying for years. And like I said, I'm happy the younger audience is speaking on this. Like playtesting hundreds of hours just to get a Nintendo Switch, paying all this money. I mean, yeah, it's goofy, bro.
I think a lot of people feel like that. We can see players quitting in their masses and switching to other card games like Lorcana, Pokemon, Magic, One Piece, because the pricing is better. It does feel like the company cares a bit more. And then on top of that, even outside of pricing, you have things like Pokemon promote their World Championships, like World Championship players, like more with like the Worlds decks, post-Worlds. Magic have the Hall of Fame. And just systems like that where it feels like you're encouraged to be competitive. And in Yu-Gi-Oh! It feels like you're not encouraged to be competitive because you're not rewarded for being good at the game.
I agree.
They don't care if you're good at the game. Like, I guess one of the examples that pushes it for me is I topped the World Championships last year. I made top 8 and then I lost first round of top 8. I walked out empty-handed.
Now that's some bull. I ain't gonna lie, dog. Man, that's bull. Make world championships, make top 8, lose top 8, getting bruh. That'll piss anybody off. Real talk.
I made it to the highest level. If you
I did not know
make
that.
it to the highest level of the game, and then top the event at the highest level of the game and walk out empty-handed, it does leave a bit of a sour taste about how the company cares about their players. There are other reasons, of course. There's a couple. Actually, one point I want to bring up YCS is it feels more rewarding to play locals. Like,
Yeah.
spending hundreds of pounds and hundreds of hours to go to a YCS top, and where I could go to a 10-man local.
Fun fact, my locals literally just had a 24-man or 25-man tournament like 2 weeks ago for a Nintendo Switch. Most fun I had playing Yu-Gi-Oh! In a long time. I got second place, and it was kind of like I didn't get the Switch, but I still went undefeated, and the opponent that got the Switch. We all had a good time. And it definitely felt more rewarding than I did going to regionals, playing all day, hours at a time, traveling in my car, bro. It's just not a good experience at all. For you guys that play competitively, you know what I'm talking about.
And it feels more rewarding to do well at that because of the prizing. Like, that sounds ridiculous. That coming top 32 in a 2,500 player event feels worse than getting first at a 10-man event. Like, come on. I'm not going to be stopping playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Entirely. I'm still going to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Casually. It's still mechanically the game that I fell in love with, but I'm done competitively. I'll still be making some content about Yu-Gi-Oh! But I'm also going to make my content a bit more personalized when I come back to it. So it'll be more focused on, well, me rather than competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I've lost all interest. Like, they've lost me. There are other factors as well. Things like hate and negativity in community. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is notorious for it, and it does take its toll. I think in comparison to other card games, where other card games just feel more welcoming to players. Don't get me wrong, I love the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community, and I have had an amazing year, and I'm super grateful to everyone who supported me and my community. But yeah, seeing the general negativity within Yu-Gi-Oh! Is another discouraging factor. But yeah, so to conclude.
To that point, I don't know what negativity Jess is talking about. If I think it is, I think it's because Jess is considered a trans person. To that point, most gaming communities, fighting game communities, Call of Duty communities have negativity. Not to say that it's okay, because it's totally not okay. I don't condone it. However, doing anything competitively and being good at it and being a content creator that get a lot of views, you're gonna have haters. And this is just my advice to Jess. You gotta you have thick skin in the game if you're gonna be good and continue moving forward. Because I guarantee you, if you go to any other card game and start being good and become a prominent voice of that community, you're gonna have your haters. They might not say it to your face. They're gonna be negative and probably blackball you in certain areas of the game. You just gotta have thick skin. I know this for a fact. I've been on social media 10+ years, as long as this person's been in the game. So I've seen it all on all fronts. You gotta have thick skin, man. You can't really let people run you out of the community with hate. If you let that happen, then you're gonna run from hate your entire life. You should be proud of who you is, no matter how people feel about it. And that's just my honest opinion on that. Personally, like I said, I'm an adult. I'm not a child. I get it. You know what I'm saying? People live their life the way they want to live it. I don't care. I'm just one of the people that just don't force your lifestyle on me, and we're cool. But yeah, hate and negativity is never good. Everyone's battles and struggles are differently. But yeah, personally though, you're gonna get that with anything competitive when you're good.
Design and cards becoming so powerful that the game is becoming more and more RNG dependent, and players are able to top less consistently. Add to that prizing, so you're not encouraged to top in the first place, and just generally being.
Also, I just want to talk about this part too, with the players topping less consistently. It comes off a bit entitled, personally, and like I said, this is not a shot. This is an unbiased reaction. Like no one, you're not old to top because you play test hours. Everyone play test hours. That's like saying Johnny from down the street or me, Rogue Hero, a relatively small YouTuber, not really that known in the competitive scene outside of Chicago. I'm a little known in Chicago, but not even that known. Like I only had a few locals people really know who I am and know how good I am, in my opinion. You know, if I started topping big events, like if I go to Europe and top an event, go here top an event in this format, you can't really say that my playtesting didn't count because my deck carried me. I don't think that's a good argument to make. And I think that's probably why this video kind of blew up. And I ain't gonna lie, kind of receiving some kind of negative comments in Zodiac Duels because Yugioh has always had these problems. I think, like I said, just to reiterate my point, I think players are just getting better. I also think, a lot of these newer pros are just saying, F this, I'm not grinding for a card game hard for a card game to win crap prizing. I'm going to do other things, enjoy my life, have a social life, play other card games, and I'll get back to Yu-Gi-Oh later. And that's why they don't do good as a Yu-Gi-Oh. I mean, you got to grind. Like when I used to play Naruto, 20 to 30 hours a week minimum top events. It was insane. So I kind of know how the grind works. And if you're not doing that, even if you're good, if you're playing the best deck, you're going to top. However, you're not going to outbeat somebody like myself who is also good, but may have just started making enough money to travel. We're going to show you up 9 times out of 10 because we put more hours into the game than you have during this current format. So that's a little entitlement personally, but I get where Jess is coming from.
Yeah, like you're not being encouraged.
Like the game has always been sacky. Who remembers the Maxi challenge from back in the day? Who remembers back in the old days where if you didn't have Injection Fairy Lily, you weren't really doing good at locals? This is back in 2004. Yu-Gi-Oh! Had these issues like confiscation, delinquent duo, -2. If you didn't have Gemini, I remember Gemini Elf was so nutty of a card. Just a generic 1900 beef stick monster. If you didn't play that card and if your opponent didn't have an out for that card, they were losing the duel. Same thing with Goblin Attack Force, throwback card. If you didn't have Goblin Attack Force in like 2004, 2005, 9 times out of 10, you were scrubbing out. Like, it's just nowadays, the power creep has gotten so ridiculous, people are just like, I'm turned off, I'd rather go play something else.
Do well in the first place. The combination of those factors, and then it feels more rewarding to enter locals. That is the reason that myself and many, many Yu-Gi-Oh players are just leaving the game. And I think, although Yu-Gi-Oh has always had these dooming moments where it's like, oh, the game's over, Links are gonna kill the game. I don't think right now is going to kill the game. But I think irreparable damage has already been done to the player base. Like, I thought I'd always be, like, the last man standing for Yu-Gi-Oh! Because even when people were dooming about other factors, I still love the game. But they've gotten me. So, who knows? We'll have to see. I don't think this is the end of Yu-Gi-Oh! But I think this is, unless something drastically changes, I do think this is a step in a very, very bad direction. Anyway, that's it from me.
Alright, I'm the end of the video here. So, go check out Sunseed Jess. You got 10K subs, gets way more views than I do. Probably don't even need a shout out, but go check them out if you want to see what kind of content Jess does. But to that whole video, dog, yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh's always had these problems. The biggest issue, in my opinion, is not really, well, the power creep is goofy too. However, the biggest issue is pricing. I guarantee you, if Yu-Gi-Oh had adequate pricing to compensate for the goofy power creep, people like Jess, all the other pros wouldn't quit Yu-Gi-Oh. If they quit, it's somebody else gonna take their place. Like if YCS winners got 10 grand for winning a YCS, do you think I care about somebody like Jess quitting? And this is no shot at Jess or some of these other pros quitting. No, I'm gonna build my deck, invest my $1,000 deck, play test my ass off, go to this event and try to win 10K. We're gonna do it. So I think prizing is the biggest issue. After this power creep, but like I said, Yu has always had these issues. Considering we don't have set rotation in Yu-Gi-Oh, power creep is always gonna be an issue. But what do you guys think about this video? First time doing an actual reaction on this channel. If you guys want to see more, let me know. It's your boy Rogue, and I'm signing out. Peace. See you guys in the next video.